This is Marcus from Mystic Prophecy, and you're watching CMS TV, Classic Metal Show. Hell yeah.
Right back here on Chris Akin Presents with the mighty Erik Ferentinos. And as promised, here to talk all about how to put some cool collectibles in your hand. It's Bruce Sisk. Bruce, how are you, man?
I'm good, brother. How you doing? Erik, it's been a minute since I've seen you, man. How you been doing, brother?
Erik? Erik?
Mm-hmm. There he is.
There he is.
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. I don't know what's going on with you. Now your internet's gone to shit. You check out and come back in.
Okay.
All right. He'll come back, but I will introduce you while we wait for Erik to come back in. Bruce, you have a charity that's out there, which I think is fantastic. There's a zillion guys out there that are somewhat connected to the rock world, but they, it's always questionable.
Right.
I saw your charity and I was like, all right, 501c3, and it's done right. It has the right people involved, and it has killer ass prizes. So why don't we start there? Tell everybody a little bit about the charity and about how what caused you to form the charity and get things started.
I will, Chris. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, it got started from my mother being diagnosed with lymphoma,
Right.
cancer. And she eventually succumbed to it. Medicaid capped her. So there was no federal money in Medicaid. They capped her at $100,000.
Right.
And the doctors were like, we can treat this, but they won't let me.
Right.
So they eventually said, you're going to have to sit and watch her die because they won't let us do anything. And so that was the reason I started the charity, because I didn't want other people being in that same, situation. So, and what we do a little different than every other organization out there. We don't keep a dime. Nobody gets paid. Everybody volunteers. 100% of the money that we bring in goes out. Okay. There's no, I run the charity out of one of my existing businesses. So there's no cost to the charity whatsoever.
Okay.
There's no rent, there's no power, there's no water bills, there's no nothing.
Right.
So 100% of what we bring in goes out. We don't keep anything.
It's great.
So then I started, calling my friends and, hey, we need to raise money, because I don't solicit money from anybody. We don't ask nobody for nothing. We always offer things in return.
Sure.
So we started putting on these shows called Rock for Hope.
Okay.
Where friends would come to town and we do like an unplugged session, sell tickets, auction items off. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So Reb Beach and Pete Evick and Eric Brittingham have been involved with me from day one.
Okay.
They've been a part of every show. They do everything, with me to raise money at the shows, the auction stuff. So we started adding people like George Lynch, Lita Ford. Every year, it's a revolving door.
Right.
But Eric, Reb, and Pete are the core.
Right.
So what we've got going on now, and normally I wouldn't do this, we would just rely on the shows that we put together and do. And we take that money and we help people. But I came across something up in Rio, West Virginia. It was very disturbing, Chris. I mean, very, very disturbing. Okay. I had seen an elderly couple on the aisle, on the food aisle, the cat food and dog food aisle.
Right.
And they were literally deciding on which can of cat food to get to eat that night.
Jesus.
So, I interjected myself into the conversation without, trying not to embarrass them. And it come to my attention, that's what they were eating. They didn't have money for groceries. So I did a little digging. This town has about a population of 200 in there. And roughly 80% of them are elderly folks. They only get $500 or $600 a month in Social Security, so they can't. There's no money there to be had to buy things like food.
Right.
So what I wanted to do is I called Erik immediately. I said, dude, we got to do something.
Right.
I don't know what, but we got to do something. Erik's like, I'm on board, whatever you want to do. So the first thing we started with was a sign base from Erik.
Okay.
And then he's like, well, let's up the ante. The winner, I will personally call the winner.
Okay.
So then Lita got involved. I got a guitar with Lita signed to give away. So each tickets are $10, and each ticket has 3 chances to win.
Okay.
So, and Erik's actually going to do the drawing.
Nice.
And we're trying to figure out how to do it live because I don't understand all this, So we're going to try to figure out how to do it live. But the third guitar is a guitar that we got signed by Red Beach, Paul Taylor from Winger, of course, and George Lynch signed that one, and then Pete Epic also signed it. So, 1 ticket, 3 chances to win. Erik's still calling the winner. The bass being the main prize. 100% of that money is going to that town, man. And we're down to 19 days, so we're pushing pretty hard and trying to get the word out there as hard as we can.
Sure.
These boys, I appreciate you guys taking the time and putting this on your show. Erik, I haven't seen you since Baltimore, man. How you been doing?
I'm a lot better, my friend. Great to see you.
It's been a long time, brother. It's been a minute.
And for people that don't know, Bruce played in a Rat tribute band.
Yeah.
That's how I met you originally.
I didn't do it as good as Erik. Does, though.
Well,
no, you did
does.
it better than me sometimes. You
No,
did it better
whatever.
than me sometimes. And you had the guitar. He had the actual snakeskin Warren guitar. You had didn't you have the sword one too?
I did. I got Frenchie. I got them all. I got Frenchie. I got the snakeskin. Yeah, I did have the sword. I sold that. Well, actually, I gave that to a kid in a rehabilitation hospital, the burn unit. He got burnt really bad, and he didn't have a guitar, so I actually gave it to the doctor to give it to him as a gift. Dude. So, and he enjoyed that quite a bit. That was a very expensive guitar.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Well, dude, let's obviously, as Erik just said, and you pointed out, you've played in a tribute band, but what is your connection? What is your connection to these guys, to Eric Brittingham and Lita Ford and George Lynch? And, did you know them, or did you just run into them over the years, or how do you know them?
I've known Pete and Erik for a very long time. And through friendships with Erik and Pete, I become friends with Reb. I become friends with Paul, Lita, and it just keeps expanding. Okay. I met all these people just like I met Erik, just at a show, just hanging out.
Sure.
And, we just stayed in contact. Erik actually, he was doing a fundraiser many, many years back. His granddaughter had got diagnosed his goddaughter got diagnosed with cancer. And they were putting on a big show up in Virginia. So with me doing what I do for a living, I custom build stuff, furniture, cabinets, kitchen cabinets and all. I told him, I said, well, I'll build you something for the auction that you guys can auction off. And it was a Gibson Les Paul table.
Okay.
Built and gave to him. And so he could raise money with it. I don't know how much money he brought in, but I think it did rather well.
That's great.
And they did that up in Virginia. But ever since that day, we've been really close.
Right. That's cool, man. Well, what is it about you? And I mean, I'll tell you a little of me. Like you're talking about burns. You can see I'm all burned to hell. I was working at a steel mill and the furnace blew up. So I took a 69% burn with 52% grafts. I mean, I took a burn. Wow. And I'm not trying to get sympathy or none of that stuff, but the reason I bring it up is because for me now, I'm super grateful about life. And I've always very quietly, with everything that I do, I kind of do some charity stuff. I have an IT business and I've built numerous websites for autism charities and burn victim charities and, cancer charities and whatnot. And I do it quietly. And I've written 6 books now and I donate 10% of the proceeds of every book that I sell to a charity called Common Ground. And I don't go out of my way to say, hey, look at me. I just kind of do it. For me, I understand I feel like I have to pay it back because I had so many people when I was in my worst state that I couldn't take care of myself that stood up for me. So I try to pay it back or forward or whichever way that would be. What is it for you? Was there something in your life that went really bad that you got through that really made you think, you know what, I got to be charitable? Or are you just one of them guys that's been charitable in your life?
Just a nice guy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, man. Watching my mother pass when it was treatable and nobody wanted to do anything, that was a wake-up call for me.
Okay.
And I was like, I just felt that I didn't want to see anybody else, deal with that. If there was a program or something available that all it was money, I wanted to be that source to help people. And that's what we've been doing. We don't boast, we don't brag. We don't do anything. If it wasn't for the urgency of this town and only 19 days left, we wouldn't even be having this conversation now.
Sure.
I don't have time to throw a show together. And with everybody's tour schedule, it's very difficult during the summertime for sure.
Right. Definitely. Now talk a little bit about this town. I mean, we all know there are definite towns across America that are poor, that are really, it's one thing to say the economy's bad, and we all say it. We all bitch and moan about, the grocery store and it's $3.59 a pound for ground beef or whatever. We all bitch and moan about it from a place of, well, we can afford it, but it kind of sucks. But there are, and both of you guys know this as guys that travel around the country, there are places you go where, a quarter difference on a box of powdered potatoes is the difference between your family eating or not eating this week. So what was it? I mean, I know you heard this conversation, but hearing a conversation of one person in need, I understand. But what was it that made you go from there to kind of investigate that town and find out what kind of dire straits they were actually in?
That same couple that I witnessed this with, and I tried to apply for them for government assistance.
Okay.
In the state of West Virginia. They approved that couple for $6 a month.
Jesus. What is that?
Exactly.
The town has no money, basically.
$6 a month. And the ironic thing about that, I just did a show. I had a show in Detroit this weekend, and I was driving up 77 through the West Virginia Turnpike, and you have 4 tolls that you have to pay $5 going to each toll and $5 coming to each toll coming back home.
Right.
So, just my car alone, they got $40 from me.
Right.
The hundreds of thousands of cars that come down that turnpike every day.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing with this money? I'm not, by no means am I political, because I fucking hate all politicians.
With you.
It doesn't matter what party, they're all just, I can't stand them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all bullshit. And, my dear friend that's helping me contacted you that put this out there. He actually knew people in government up there.
Okay.
And called them to try to get them to do something, along with what we're trying to do. And that cocksucker actually told him if that problem was real, we would know about it and we would help him.
Dude, please.
That's just. I can't stand politicians.
No, they're all scum. They're all just pathetic pieces of shit. It's like you can look at where Erik lives out there in California. There's homeless camps everywhere, and then they say there's nothing going on. It's like, wait a minute, help the fucking people.
Dude, we can give billions of dollars away to stupid shit in other countries every year.
Exactly.
We can't take care of our own, and it really pisses me off, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see, looking at that and then talking to a family that's literally trying to figure out if they want to have Meow Mix or Alpo for dinner. It's like, whoa, that's fucked, man. Hand these people $100, or don't even hand them $100. Hand them $100 grocery voucher. Let them come in and just say, hey, I can't afford. I've always thought that is of government assistance, which I think is just a big scam.
Yeah.
Don't give anybody money.
Yeah.
Give them a voucher. You can shop 4 times a week. You get $150.
That's right.
Go. And that way, at least you know they're going to eat. You know that they're going to have food. And if they don't, well, then that's a different issue. But at least take care of your own. And, I applaud you, man, because it's one thing to see it. It's another thing to take action. And there's not the unfortunate thing is, and I don't even want to get into like millionaires and billionaires and all that because they're all shitty too.
Yeah.
But those of us that are like middle class people, more should help. More should help. I know I have a little dumb thing that I do, again, kind of quietly. I really don't talk about it, but there's a grocery store about 25 minutes from me. And every year I go by it because it's where homeless people kind of gather around Christmas time. And I grab myself a homeless guy and I take him in the grocery store and I'll buy them whatever they want. Whatever, here's $150, $200, whatever it is. I'll buy them whatever they want. And I do it quietly, and I always have. I've done it like 12 of the last 13 years. And it's just because I want to help, but I don't want to give money to the Red Cross or the any of these organizations. I want to give it to, if I'm willing to give $150, I want to give it to somebody. It's going to look me in the eye, say, thank you. My kids are going to eat for 2 weeks because you bought me X, whatever it is, and I think that's important.
Yeah,
you also have to learn how to shop too. Like that's so important, like to make your money go further, to learn how to cook, to do these important things and teach people recipes they can do to keep under that budget that they have if they are given any assistance,
Yeah. But I think recipe number 1 is make sure that the people have enough money that they're not buying cat food. That's lesson number 1.
But the state, I'm confused. The state doesn't have a program like in California here, they have like the EBT program, CalFresh.
They approved them. That's what I filled out for. It was the West Virginia EBT, and they approved them for $6 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, did that have to do with something they put wrong in their filing? I think you just have to have under
I did it
12 or 13,000 income, and you should be able to get like $200 or $300 a month for food.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, or if you don't even know, just say so, Bruce. But I think part of that has to do with the what do you call it? The average earnings per capita is what they base EBT on. Yeah. They base it. So if you're in a really, really depressed area, it'll be a lot lower. And the reason is because they don't want people taking that money and using it to buy drugs or to trade for drugs or whatnot. It really is kind of a double-edged sword of awful. It really is.
It really is, man. Them elderly people getting $500 or $600 a month. I don't know anybody that can pay their bills and have anything left over. Then, Rio, West Virginia is about, like I said, 200 population, but 80% of that is elderly people. That 70, 80, 90-year-old that cannot go get a job.
Right. And in addition to not only can they not get a job, but then the other nasty thing that they do, especially to the elderly, is everything's now online.
Yep.
So they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to. They don't know how to fill out stuff online or on their phone. Most of them don't even know that they have the internet on their phone.
I did it for them in the parking lot, and then I filled it out. I gave them what I had in my pocket was a few $100. I gave it to them, and I took. It was actually at there was a place called JJ's Diner there where you can go get hot meals, and I opened up an account and said, "Here, put this cash on there. People come in, let them eat, and don't charge." But so I had actually contacted them a few weeks after I had filled that thing out. And they let me know that it came in with a welcoming letter, and she read it to me, and that's how I knew they approved her for $6 a month. The state of West Virginia. I don't know what I just don't understand the rationality or the thinking behind that.
Yeah, I mean, what do they think you can buy for $6 a month?
You know, and Chris, you could probably, I mean, you can go 10 miles in any direction if I have a problem, but I haven't ran across them. I ran across this one.
Yeah.
And then the first call that I made was Erik Birmingham. I was like, bro, we got to do something. I can't leave here and sleep at night knowing this is going on up here.
Right.
And so, and Dave also contacted every news station up there in the area, every news outlet, news channel, they've all shot him down. They won't even talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, dude. Well, and that's the weird thing, you know. I mean, our friend, our mutual friend Dave Tedder is the one that asked me about would I, and I couldn't volunteer quick enough to say sure. You know, I'm more than happy to promote it. This should be a national promotion. There should be a national sponsor to this. I mean, it's literally a charity that takes nothing for itself.
Yep.
So with that being said, it is criminal. I'll call it criminal that you don't have a Clear Channel or iHeart or whatever they're called today, taking it across the country and sponsoring it and raising millions of dollars.
Man, they've all turned me down.
Which is crazy.
I have been everywhere. I mean, they've all turned me down. You know, we've tried to get, I tell you this, the raffle was running for 60 days. We've sold 228 tickets.
Okay, wow.
I mean, that's $2,280 that ain't going to do shit.
Right. But it's and it's I think the reason that it's that number is just exposure.
Yeah,
it's not that people won't help.
Yep.
You know,
getting it out there.
Every time I see a friend or a family member of a friend die on Facebook, I see the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000 to pay medical expenses or to pay this or that. If there was exposure to this, there should be $100,000 easy. You know, I mean, $10. First of all, most people throw $10 away at the bar getting a drink. Yep. One drink. So for the cost of a drink, you got 3 chances to win a guitar that even if you don't like the bands, you could sell it on eBay for $1,500.
I mean,
come on.
I don't know how often or how many times you're going to get, you know, George Lynch, Reb Beach, Paul Taylor, and Pete on one guitar.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you know, and how often are you going to get Lita to sign a Warlock and you know, hang it? And I mean, come on, Erik, you're going to win a bass and get a phone call? Come on.
Yeah, I think it's a great charity, and I think that it's, first and foremost, regardless of the prizes or whatever, I think it's the cause is just.
No.
And that's why I wanted to have you on in the first place, was because when I read this, I was like, good God, you know, how
this should be a state of emergency called, though.
It should be. I agree.
It's weird that it's not, when you have like senior citizens starving, that you can't even approve them for a basic amount of food. What an embarrassment for the
state,
you know, governor,
for the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not asking Biden for help.
I mean, they're taking in millions of dollars in that state.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I mean,
seems intentional.
I don't understand why somebody from Georgia, because that's where I live, is trying to fix a problem in West Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why is not West Virginia or anybody up in that area trying to solve these problems?
Yeah. Why is there not one senator or one congressperson for that area that's jumping up and down saying, we got people that can't live in our state, let's fix it?
We've reached out to them.
Yeah.
Crickets. And the only thing we get back is that response I told you.
Yeah.
Well, if that was truly going on, we would help them.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
Well, we got the ticker tape here. This is
contribute-https:///raffle.
Yeah. They can, well, I mean, if they
raffle.
just go to treatmentrelief.org, they can hit the scroll down and go to the raffle page, the guitars, read the story, read where 100% of the money is going. We don't keep a dime. And buy a ticket.
Right.
And that's the thing. me and Dave are pulling our hair out. We're trying to get this out there. I mean, I tag Erik, I tag George, I tag Rev, and everything I put out, but it's like it's going nowhere now.
Right.
And it's frustrating, man. We live in a different time now.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna say it on the air, and then I'm gonna honor it as soon as we get done with the show tonight. As soon as we get done, I am gonna go online. I am gonna buy 5 tickets.
No, man.
I'm gonna buy 5 raffle tickets. If I happen to win, I'm gonna have you sell the guitar or the bass on eBay and put that into the money too, because I do not play an instrument, nor do I collect anything. So I would much rather win and put another $1,500 into the cause, because
that's awesome, brother.
And what I hope is that if who you guys so willingly tune into every single week, if I can buy 5 tickets and then offer to give up the prize, how about you guys buy 1 ticket? 10 freaking bucks. Not asking for a lot here. $10.
I put it out there, I'm telling you, I don't know why the tickets haven't been moving, and I don't understand Facebook algorithms or none of that. It won't let me sponsor an ad. When I try to sponsor an ad to get it out there, it won't even let me sponsor that.
You'd have to pay to do that on Facebook anytime it's a business thing you're doing.
It won't even let me do that to that post. I sponsor ads for my woodworking store all the time, but when it comes to that particular personal post, it won't let me.
It's because I know why. I work IT, and the reason why is because they want you to send proof of everything under the sun to them so they can verify your charity and that you're not raising money. That's bullshit and blah blah. And believe me when I tell you, they will ask for everything, including your firstborn's insurance policy, before they'll let you. They're as cunty as anybody when it comes to letting you earn money. It really is terrible. But
it's horrible.
It's horrible. Well, yeah. Bruce, we're going to wrap this one up because we got to get out of here. But I do want to one more time tell everybody, treatmentrelief.org is the website, treatmentrelief.org. We have the raffle link on the scroll here. So if you're watching this after the live or even right now, go over there and buy a raffle ticket. Don't be cheap. I know every single one of you either drinks or smokes pot. So give up 1 beer or 1 joint this week and do something for the people of our country, for our people.
Yeah.
Help our people out. $10.
And the name of the city again that this is?
Rio.
It's Rio, West Virginia.
Yeah,
Rio.
R-I-O. It's spelled like Rio, but it's Rio.
Mm-hmm.
Rio,
West Virginia.
Yeah, so you can look up the city as well and see how destitute they are. So let's get out there as metalheads and help out, because Lord knows, I know we all try to be macho and we all try to be cool and all this other bullshit, but in the end, we want to see our own taken care of.
That's right.
So let's take care of our own here. And $10 for somebody that's literally contemplating eating cat food for dinner. $10 is the difference between eating that and eating something legit, for probably 2 or 3 days. So let's help out. And Bruce, man, it's great to have you on. Once this raffle is done and you get the next setup, dude, as many of these as you do, this door will always be open to come on and promote it. And, I'm happy to help.
Thank you guys so much. Erik, it was good talking with you, man. I hadn't spoken to you in years. We need to catch up.
There you go. Nice. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Chris Akin Presents. We will be back next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We will do it once again. I have no idea who the guests will be because I'm not that far in advance. But for Bruce and for Erik, thanks for tuning in.
And for Sugar Smack.
That's right, and Sugar Smacks too. So for everybody involved, we will be back next week. And thanks for watching, and see ya. Peace.